How's it going? How's it going, everyone? This is Jason, homeschooling dad, and today I want to read this article from Newsweek on dads homeschooling children surges. So, this article was published on September 28th, 2023. It was published last year, but it's still relative, especially since I am a homeschooling dad myself. So, I want to read this and then talk about this article a little bit. So, a growing number of fathers are ditching gender roles and homeschooling their children post pandemic, a survey has found. The number of dads who are responsible for educating their homeschool kids significantly climbed from 2019 to 2023. The Washington Post survey of more than 1,000 parents of children aged 5 to 20 showed. While mothers are still the primary homeschool educators, the number of dads who occupy this role jumped from 5% to 40% in just 4 years. During this time, parents saw a huge shift in work, life, and family responsibilities as the pandemic sparked office employees to work from home at unprecedented rates. The level of job flexibility could have been responsible for the shift of dads becoming at home teachers, but previous studies reveal gender and family role dynamics have been changing steadily over time. So it's interesting. So they said COVID, the pandemic, accelerated a lot of stuff that was already happening before the pandemic. It's just COVID just sped it up. And the fact that they're talking about gender roles and family roles have been already steadily changing over time, but COVID just pretty much kind of sped that up. So it's not surprising to see that we have more dads who are taking on home educator roles. Over the past 40 years, men increased the amount of unpaid work they do each week by 5 hours and 35 minutes, according to the Time of Our Lives study by the Resolution Foundation. Examples of unpaid work include household chores as well as childcare, indicating division of labor may slowly be approaching more equal levels. The pandemic also might push more parents into homeschooling than in previous years, as a significant number of the Washington Post survey parents indicated their local schools' COVID 19 policies were one potential reason they opted to educate their child at home. While 31% said the coronavirus policies at local public schools were too strict, 27% said the opposite. The policies were not strict enough when it came to masking or testing requirements. In New York City, the number of children homeschooled grew by roughly 7,000 or 88% since the pandemic hit, according to Chalkbeat. And other cities and states have experienced a similar boost in homeschooling. Homeschooling as a trend. Nationally, there are around 3.7 million homeschool students, according to the National Home Education Research Institute, based on data from the 2020 to 2021 school year. Historically, parents have chosen homeschooling over local schools for myriad of reasons. Often parents feel dissatisfied by the formal education system and want to have a more unique type of learning experience for their children. Other times, concerns over bullying and safety at schools can fuel the desire to homeschool a child in a more protected environment. Children with special needs or learning disabilities might also prefer a homeschooling environment alongside those with a busy extracurricular schedule that requires more flexibility for their education. However, no matter the reason, in the majority of cases, mothers have always been the ones homeschooling their children. It's a trend that reflects traditional gender and family roles, but is being increasingly challenged as more dads take on work from home jobs. The flexibility of remote work allows both mothers and fathers to spend more time with their children, and in turn, there might be a push for more fathers to take on the homeschooling role. Men have also been spending more time on housework in recent years, although women still perform the bulk of household chores and childcare. Research shows men who work from home increase their time spent on housework as well as time spent with family by more than 5%. Male workers who transitioned to working from home also became more family life oriented by a rate of 6.1%, according to a study from Duke University researchers. So let's read some of the comments. This one comment says, the less kids in the public school system, the better. Long past time parents actually do their jobs and raising their kids. The concept of shipping kids off to school all day, every day, so the state can raise their kids is such a destructive and unnatural phenomenon. The only reason it exists is to ensure the parents are staying good little worker bees. Same reason there was such a push against women staying at home. Anything to get people working and consuming instead of raising kids. Decades of that rot results in where and what we have today. People need to quit calling them public schools and start calling them what they are, government schools. Yeah. Homeschooling dad here. This is a nice theory, but I'm actively involved in a large homeschool co-op in California. And of the 100 of so teachers, parents we have on campus on Mondays or classes, there are three dads, and the other two are there because I recruited them to teach robotics and philosophy with me. Has the prevalence of homeschooling dads increased in recent years? Yes. Based on homeschool conventions, we appear to have gone from 1% to about 2 to 3%, but 40% as per this article. That's absurd. I suspect this question was worded to get that answer. There's a big difference between does dad teach in your homeschool and who is the primary homeschooling parent. The first question might be 40%. Most dads are involved in their kids' education. Shocker. The second would be single digits. Another homeschool dad, Chad B. Homeschool dad here. We have three we are schooling right now. I am the primary educator for one, while my wife is a primary educator for the other two. I will admit she does a lot more with those two than I do. I end up taking up much more of an Oxford model, start working the next lesson in Algebra 2. If you have a question, ask me. I'm here to help. If you get below an 85, you're grounded. The idea is to teach him the material, how to learn, and how to evaluate when he needs help. Also, I'm working so I can't take a full day to teach the material and is more efficient with my time. Similar with chemistry, philosophy, Latin. I don't end up helping out at the co op a whole lot, but I am involved. Not sure how I would end up answering the survey if I ended up in it. And we have another homeschool dad, Charlie Warner. Another homeschool dad here. I will say the 40% figure is probably suspect. I also think it's more than you are seeing in your particular group. I would love to see the actual poll questions and results. So, let me see this one. So yeah, okay, so that's it for reading that article. I just wanted to kind of like read it, and in the comment section, you can give me some feedback with what you think. As you can see in some of the comment sections of that article, there was some pushback on the actual data that the poll gathered. And then also there was I saw a comment, I didn't read it. Well, one person wanted to comment, well, not every parent or family can homeschool because financial reasons, which is a given. Yeah, people who can homeschool, they are able to financially support homeschooling. That is understandable. But there's another argument about that probably will probably go down a whole another rabbit hole. But just focusing on the article with they're seeing a steady growth in dads homeschooling. Me myself, I'm a homeschooling dad. After I separated from the military and I can get my disability check, I am able to stay at home, and I am the primary caregiver and educator of my daughter. So I fit in that bucket because one of the commenters mentioned that um, you might have dads that are participating in homeschooling, but you might have dads that are that are the primary educators. So those are two different things. It's like a teacher and an assistant teacher, right? But nonetheless, the dads are participating in the education of the child's homeschooling curriculum, which I still think is a win-win. No matter what, the dads are being more involved in the education of their child. The article talked about the whole unpaid labor thing. Here's my thing: I hate that saying. Um, I look at it this way: if you were living by yourself, you still have to cook and clean your living space. That's like me saying I live with myself. That's like I'm not being paid to clean up my own living area, right? This is my unpaid labor. No, that is your chores and responsibilities in your house. I get it, but I think those words are it's kind of like gears conversation to something else. But um, yeah, I mean, if as a father, if you are able to work from home and have the time while work from home to be able to um, partake in the household chores and you educate your child, yeah, I don't see why wouldn't you? I think there's a benefit for everyone, if you ask me, and I think it benefits everybody, right? Because me personally, if you can financially be at home, there's and with the education curriculums that's out there these days, some are at the same level of what you would give your child get at public school or even better. And then with all these other extracurriculars and clubs you can sign your child up for, if you can financially afford to be a stay-at-home dad and offer a better alternative for your child, why wouldn't you? Right? It just makes more sense to do that versus shipping your kid off to a school, especially if you're in the states where things are just crazy. Not everywhere, but you know what I'm saying. Like if you can offer, especially when they're showing studies of homeschool kids are tending to perform better academically and outperform their peers who do go to public schools. Why wouldn't you want to give your child that better that leg up and opportunity education wise, right? And especially when sending your child to a school and you're at work and then your spouse there at work too, your child is bonding more with the people at the school versus with the family. And if you can have more time with your child, that's more bonding with your child versus sending your child to the person commented the government school and they're bonding with these people, right? Because especially if you're a religious family, these public schools aren't faith based anymore. They don't, you can't talk about religion in the school, so you'll probably find a Christian private school or something like that. But once again, if you can afford to have a parent at home, yeah, parent at home can teach the religion, they can teach the lessons, they can do all that while at the same time giving your child a much more relaxed learning environment to learn. And not I'm not going to talk about the social aspect in this video. That can be another video. But in that's all I had wanted to talk about today. Tell me what you guys think. Comment below. Appreciate you guys who have subscribed to my homeschool newsletter. Please share that and engage. Talk to you later.